the videos to reasonable times, or it's going to take me forever to upload them. So, but we're going to get going. So this is live. And the good thing is, you're going to want to review this, and instead of we're going to have actual live work task that will be impacting the company. We will be making steps toward making our first money for us as a team, right? Making our first positive contributions back to Big Dreams, and that's what our team's all about. And I'm excited to do that with you guys. But I wasn't going to push that till Monday of next week. I started to think, why would we push till Monday? Overall, the end result's going to be that we're going to get there faster. And while we get there, while you both are learning, I'm going to be supporting you anyways. So I was thinking, well, why wouldn't I support you? Instead of from a general standpoint, why wouldn't I just support you while we're, doing the things that needed to be done? So maybe that was common sense that I overlooked and didn't think through. But so that's kind of why we're going to make a quick little shift and change. And it's going to be a good one, because you're going to see very quickly that this is doable. Instead of taking a very large approach at one whole aspect, and believe it or not, and kind of making the change I've made, we're going to dissect it a little bit further. And I'm going to take you through with me today, and then you're going to go do it yourself. This is what we do. This will be the first steps, essentially. Well, first steps of this type of process. This is the first steps. This is what, Sharon, you're going to be doing, a few times a week. May's going to be familiar with it, and until we get to some equilibrium, May's going to be helping with that as well, doing some of the same things. And then I'm going to be tag teaming it too, because while I'm not going to be sitting around, it's going to be the three of us going at this, trying to be ultra efficient and making sure that we can accomplish things sooner rather than later. So I'll record this, and definitely I would suggest one of the main things I'll have you guys do prior to getting going. There won't be any task for tomorrow. There's just going to be work that needs to be done, live work, actual work that will impact the company, mostly in Zoho and utilizing your new Gmail accounts, which we'll go through. So definitely watch this video again, because it'll have everything. We're gonna go through this. I'm gonna take you through a live. Everything is the real deal right now. Okay, so I'm gonna take you through that, and then you guys will be able to. I'm gonna basically divide it into half, because I've got some things that I need to loop on, and I'll explain that when we get to the point. But I'm gonna divide our vendors currently in half, and I'm just gonna say, I don't know what it'll be, but I'll send it to you. Sharon, you've got A through M. If the first letter is an A, boom, there you go. May, you got N through Z, or whatever it is. I've got to look and see what's balanced. There's about 100. I just looked this morning. There are about 102 vendors currently that we're going to be reaching out to that already exist, have already been identified, and have already been categorized in Zoho. So that's our main goal. Does that sound good so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Sounds good. Yep. Everything's good.
Perfect. So I'm excited about that. I got to thinking, and Ryan and I chatted last night, I guess while you guys were sleeping, and I just said, why would we not do it this way? And that's always our thing, is trying to make sure that we're utilizing your skills, and our biggest thing too is that we don't waste time. Time is money, and time is your most profitable asset is the time that you have. So, but
every tick of the clock is money, actually.
Right, absolutely, you're telling me. So no, perfect, absolutely. Glad we kind of agree on that. So that's basically what we're going to be doing, is we're going to take the need right now, as I was kind of a roundabout explanation, so I'm sorry, but the need is, we have vendors. A lot of what we're going to do long term, and a lot of Sharon, what you're going to do long term is, you're going to lead the charge of finding vendors that fit the criteria that you'll know, and I'll tell you, and it's at that point you'll know. So I probably won't have to tell you again. But we've got to find new ones here in a few weeks. That's part of your job, and we haven't gone into how you're going to do that yet, really, and that's okay. So don't worry about that. But that's kind of what it all what your role specifically, Sharon, is going to be is I've got to find new vendors and then work towards buying their products if they fit the criteria that Big Dreams has set for me. So we've already done that, which is why I was thinking we've got it. Both of you need to learn the process anyways. We've already got these vendors. I can't, with all that's going on, I can't go through right now. There's not enough hours in a day to devote the time, unfortunately, to going through and doing what I need to do, which is a full-time job in and of itself, right? And reaching out to them, trying to get approved. Once I get approved, collecting their price list, doing all these things that Sharon, you're going to be doing, and May is going to know how to do and is going to help. And both of you just have to know these things. And I was thinking, well, why wouldn't we just go through it together, right? Let's go through it together. Let's let you guys react because there's no harm. At this point, I know it seems like, you probably neither one of you want to make a mistake, and that's fine. Trust me. That's absolutely fine. But, in regard to a lot of these things, I've got templates for you. When you send an email, both of you, starting maybe tomorrow, just because I know by the time we get off, it'll be nighttime there later. So I don't really expect you to do this tomorrow. I think my guess is, if I was you guys, I'd take it in tonight, get some sleep. Once you're up tomorrow morning, rewatch this video, and then once you feel comfortable, just start going. All the emails you're sending, I have them for you done. I'm gonna have May. You're gonna maybe email. I might just because I want to kind of test things myself. I'm curious to see if there's any impact. If Sharon, you're sending an email from your email account that says wholesale manager on it as your signature, right? And then I want to see. I'm probably going to have you send emails directly from my email account that says Vice President Business. I'm just curious to see, because the biggest thing, Sharon, for you is we need to know if there's any difference, and I don't think there shouldn't be, but I don't know. If there's any difference between an email coming from you or an email coming from me in terms of how we're getting responses and how people are just, responding to these emails, yeah, I might just have you email as me long term. If for some reason people are responding to Tyler more than they're responding to Sharon, I don't know. So we're gonna test those, and I'll talk to you and let you know, send you the stuff for you to get in. But I just wanted you to know, Sharon, that you're gonna send from Sharon at Big Dreams. I will. I've already got him in Google Drive, though you guys would never see him just because you wouldn't know to be looking for it. But I've already got exactly what you're gonna say. This process is literally a copy and paste process, and other than that, it's housekeeping. So, and I'm gonna take you through it. I'm just giving you a summary, but it's click on a vendor in Zoho. I'll give you a simple, quick version. Chef Star. This is a vendor. Do you see that? Okay, check this out. So the work has already been done for you. I did it. It was terrible. So welcome to the team, Sharon. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. I'm just kidding. It's actually pretty simple stuff. It's just making sure you collect as much as possible. So check this out. So we've got the Amazon storefront. That's the link. The important thing to remember on all of these, all of these vendors, it depends on how much information we were able to find on them. And Sharon, you're gonna start to see that really quickly. When you get into all this and you start to really feel comfortable, you're not gonna find a phone number. Believe it or not, you're not gonna find a phone number for every vendor. You're not gonna find where is it? Hold on, I scanned too far. You're not gonna find a reseller app. So do we see this here, both of you? That's like striking gold or striking oil, right? You find a reseller app, automatically that means that company is used to working with resellers, and that's great. Yeah, it's a great sign. It doesn't. I'll be honest with you. I've gotten denied as many times as I've gotten approved when there's a reseller app. So it's a good sign. It doesn't mean you're going to get approved, but it's a great sign. It means that their company has
So there is
evolved.
a greater possibility
Mm-hmm.
that you'll get a positive response from the company. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So the reseller app, I've already built out a sweet process. So I've just got to pull all this together for you guys. So, and I'll pull it together and then I'll send it to you of exactly what you're going to do. But a reseller app is a little bit different. It just requires a little bit more information typically. It's going to ask things like, what's your business address for us? So we've got a form. It's in Google Drive. I'll show you in just a little bit. We've got a form that's got all that information in it. So I wanted, and while we were planning ahead, knowing I would have two awesome people like you guys helping me out, I wanted to make sure that when we got to today and we got to this moment, that you had those things. Now, I'm sure I've missed something. That's just the way it goes. But with Google Drive, if you're seeing something, both of you, in the next 24 to 48 hours while you're working on this, just add it to Drive. Or message me on Slack on the wholesale team and say, hey Tyler, I came across a reseller app that wanted to know what color hair you have. I don't, why would they ask that? I don't know, right? They won't. I'm just being sarcastic. But if they say, what state are you located in? You've got to just look at the form fills that I've provided all of our information. You copy North Carolina or South. Well, technically we're in both, but in North Carolina is where our warehouse is located. NC, copy, paste. So it really is so very simple. So I started to think, and I was like, well, if I've done the work up front, why don't I just let both of you guys just start going, right? If we get to 9, fine. Who cares? It is what it is. 6 months from now, we're going to come back to the same company and we're going to reapply. Maybe in 3 months, maybe in 2 months. I don't know. So the beauty is that the contact URL. We're going to go through it step by step, so I'm speeding through, and then I do want to chat about yesterday. This is an example of, so May, was there a reseller app for this company? Do you remember?
there was.
Not resell. So there, no, there was not a reseller application, right? But there was a contact URL. So that took me here. So all you would do, again, I would you'll know my name, but you can copy and paste it too until you're familiar. So you would put in, it said your name. When you get to a contact URL, you'll just answer as me. I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna click on that so it fills everything for me. All right, this is our office phone number, which is on you guys' business cards. If you were wondering what that other number was, that's our office phone number. You'll copy my email. You'll copy the office phone number. And then the beautiful thing is, so some contact forms limit how many characters you can paste into a message. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because they're trying to limit how much you can say to them, right? Not all of them do that, but always, take a look at the name of the title of this. General message to target brands, long version. Start with this version always, and I'll cover that again. And it'll also be noted when I send you, the breakdown of what you're going to be doing. But always start with the long version. All right, this goes into some detail. It connects with them more than just, hey, I want to get approved. What do I need to do? Thank you, Tyler Vaughn. Big dreams. People, that's not going to work. We have to be more personal, and we have to try to be a little bit different. So you can read through this again. These numbers here are just important numbers that they want to know. It legitimizes. I don't know why it's in there twice actually. It legitimizes. That's the wrong number too. I think I'll fix that. It legitimizes us as a company. It says that we've got the appropriate licenses. We know what we're doing. We are selling things as currently, and it helps push us through the system a little bit faster. it doesn't send up red flags to them, and it says, hey, these guys know what they're doing. Let's give them a shot. So those are things that I would definitely do. So literally, and I've got to go in and change. This is the mailing address. I'm going to change it to our warehouse address because this is just, I haven't updated this in about 2 months. You would just drag, copy. Yep. Go back here. Let's see if it takes it. I've done this one before actually. Boom. You can open, a lot of these will let you open them up like that. You see where I'm kind of pulling. I like to go in just to make sure, it changes it, but it makes me feel better. It makes it seem more professional in my opinion. I create some paragraphs. I will be honest with you. If you don't do that, it's not a big deal. When their system receives this message, it deletes the paragraphs anyways. It just makes me feel better. I don't care what you do though. Just make sure it looks kind of the same here as here. So you see the structure, right? The greeting, couple paragraphs, and then the signature. All right. So again, we're going to go through this from start to finish. So I'm just giving you an idea, and then I would send it. All right. So really, as simple as that. That's it. It's a copy and paste name of the game. All right. So I'm not going to send it for now. I'm going to let one of you guys send it later on. All right. But back to that. So both of you were able to log into Zoho. So yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What about ANZ Scout?
Yes.
Awesome. Did you add the extension to your browser?
Yes, right. Yeah. Or yes, I did.
Love it. That's perfect. No, that's great. So that's awesome. Did anyone play around with it? You didn't have to.
Not yet.
That's okay. That's fine.
I haven't browsed through it yet.
That's fine. I played around with it too. I was somewhat familiar, but I knew it was similar enough that I didn't really spend a lot of time on my own playing around with it because I knew it was similar. And I told both of you yesterday that, hey, this is the process. Yesterday, we used Jungle Scout, but from now on, we're going to use AMZ Scout. They're the same thing. They look a little bit different. They do the exact same things. So I did check into it and just make sure that it was as similar as I'd anticipated, and it was, and it is, and it's great. It's faster. It appears to be pretty darn accurate, which is always important. But as far as that goes, that's a great thing moving forward. So when we get to yeah.
Tyler, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to ask something regarding contacting vendors.
Yep.
Since we're doing it through email, will there be a time that we're going to contact them through phone?
Nope. I have when I went through. So I mean, you're going to be emailing. I don't know whatever time it's going to be. If you send a contact URL form like I just showed you, it doesn't matter when you send that. It doesn't matter at all, right? If you send an email, I mean, try to keep it like not 4 in the morning if you can, our time. Just because if you're sending a direct email to someone, they might see that and it might, send up a red flag if you're sending a direct email. But you guys won't be doing that right now, to be honest with you. Any email that you're sending out of your, and I told Sharon, I told you that you might be sending emails as your name. That's going to be like 1 out of 15 vendors. You're not going to, because the only time you'd ever send a direct email, Sharon, and you may you as well, using my email, the only time you're going to do that is if we did not find a contact URL or a reseller app, which is very rare. That's very rare. So I understand exactly where you're coming from, but I don't think it matters. I've started filling out on East Coast time. I went through one evening and I worked from 10 p.m. to like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. just filling out contact URLs, applying for a camp. I mean, I just kind of had to take that chunk of time and just sat and just did it, and it was a lot of copying and pasting, but that's just the process. So my point is, I didn't really notice that people weren't responding to me any more than normal because of when I was doing that based on the time. So I wouldn't worry. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it. So honestly, the information that you're going to be sending them is what legitimizes our contact, because we have the appropriate numbers we need. We have a physical warehouse address, which is huge. Just as a little bit of information, vendors want to know that you have an actual physical warehouse that receives shipments. They want to know that because they don't want people selling out of their garage. They just don't, because it impacts what their brand image looks like. So that's something. But again, you're not going to have to really worry about that, because here's the deal. My email is going to be the return email. All right. Long term, my email, it might be the return email, but longer term, my guess is, May, you would probably be one of the first people to see it. And then you're also going to probably be comfortable enough, because I know what they're going to ask. They're going to say, just because they're going to, if they respond, all right, Sharon, you're going to create this process. You're going to go on and apply, right? You're going to go on and apply here in a month's time when you're up and running and we get past the first couple weeks. You're going to go on and apply. They're going to send me an email. Following me so far?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're going to apply. They're going to send me an email in response to you applying. May, you're probably going to intersect that, and you're going to look at it and say, okay, what do they want to know? A lot of times they'll send an actual application that just needs to be filled out and sent back.
Filled out.
Yeah, and again, you'll have all that information. It'll be a copy and paste kind of situation.
Will there be, Tyler? Will there be an instance, for example, that it will ask someone from our company to speak with and to, I mean,
Possibly.
to ask some, okay.
Possibly. That's not normal. That's really not normal. But yeah, I talk, and I'll probably do that. But I'll be honest with you. If if you don't, I think Sharon, you would probably feel comfortable talking to some. I know it would be a different time zone for you, and that would be kind of a pain. But do you probably feel comfortable speaking to someone on the phone, don't you?
Yes, of course.
I figured so. But again, May, if that's not, yeah, it's not super common. And honestly, if it comes up and it's needed, then I'll handle that. May, we've spoken briefly about like email and stuff like that. That would be one you'd put in, when we get there, right? You'd flag that green, which would tell me, Tyler, you need to deal with this like today or tomorrow. Okay. So that's cool. That's fine. I'm even good with you sending me a message saying, "Hey Tyler, this email came through. They want to speak on the phone." Based on. Huh, say that one more time.
Whenever there is an email that they're asking from a vendor that they're asking if they can speak with you, then I would just send you a message.
Yep.
Power, someone wants to talk to you, and all the details, like
Yep.
the time and yeah.
Yep.
So
That's perfect. Yeah. No. Perfect. No, that's good. And we'll talk about that later. I mean, it's okay. I think we're probably a week to 2 weeks from having to worry about that. So, but no, I mean, we'll all figure out things like that. You both hopefully have a sense already that I'm willing to figure out what works best for you guys and what works best for me, and then figuring out what we do. Right? It's not Tyler's way or the highway. Period. That's not it. It's what works for all of us, which is why jumping on the phone, jumping on the three of us getting on today and starting that conversation, what works for all of us, and that's what we've got to figure out, and that's okay. So, all right. So really quickly, let's going into the process and taking you step by step through it. This is the meat of what we're going to talk about. This is what you're both going to be doing for the next day or so. I put a tentative deadline on this because I know it can be done, and I'm not going to give you other things to do. I'm just going to say let's focus on this. So basically tomorrow it's all about going through the list, and so dividing and conquering. If I gave you one of you 102, I think, vendors, which is what it was, you could do it in a day, but that wouldn't it'd be a bit much, and I don't need to overwhelm you. Again, we're going to tackle this divide and conquer, if that makes sense. So uh, it'll be doable, and it'll be good because I think you're going to have, in a weird way, I think you're going to enjoy just working, doing the actual work, knowing this isn't a test, this isn't a practice, this is the real deal, and he trusts me to do it, and I do, and that's it, and I think that will be good for you guys. So the tools that we're going to use predominantly right now are Zoho CRM. We will not use AMZ Scout right now in this, but I did want to make sure that you guys it was more a reminder for me that you guys could get on and everything. So, and then I will embed suite process steps that have already been created as support tools for you, just so that after I explain it to you, you've got an opportunity to go back through and prior to doing it tomorrow, to go back through and say, all right, we talked about this for an hour, but what do I do again? And that's okay. So I've got that as support for you as well. All right. So good to get going.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'm gonna get rid of I'll leave that there. It's fine. So I've got these pulled up. So in Zoho, again, this is where the suite process comes in to help you guys, because I've actually got screen grabs of all this good stuff. So in Zoho, I'm one click further than you will be if you log in. Okay. Basically, at the top, you get this list of tabs. All right. You guys are both, for the most part, well, especially you, Sharon, long term, you're basically going to be working within vendors pretty regularly, because vendors are the sellers. Vendors are the brand owners, like Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, Sony, Samsung. Those are all vendors. Okay. So you would click here, and I'll click just to kind of show you, and then it brings you right to where we're looking right now. All right. You'll notice that it's listed very similar to a Google Sheet kind of layout. That the title of this column, these are the vendor names. These are their storefronts, vendor status, priority, so on and so forth. Okay. To get into them individually, all you would do is click on the vendor name. Okay. Good so far?
Good.
This is important right here. You saw me kind of hover over to this little drop down where it says high value wholesale WS. You'll see me use that a lot, so don't be tripped up by that. Wholesale targets. All right. You now have the ability to select what list am I looking at. Okay. So all vendors, that's definitely the big list, I guess. That's everything. We're not climbing Mount Everest right now. We're just trying to get to the top of the first hill, so we're not going to tackle everything. All wholesale manufacturers, again, that's pretty straightforward. Approved, when we get approved as a vendor, us as a reseller, when we get approved, actually what you'll do is, do you see the vendor status here? And right here, vendor status. Yeah, so each of these has a vendor status. If we've applied for an account, if we've applied to them, they get the tag applied for. If we've been rejected by them, so they denied us, if they've rejected us, they get a tag that says rejected. If, yeah, I mean, and they're all drop downs. I'll show you in a second. If they're a target, someone we know, hey, this is a great opportunity, all right, then they get that tag. So again, it is straightforward and kind of common sense. You'll be fine with that. The list that we're going to go through tomorrow, but with the examples now, are the high value wholesale targets. High value. That means that the opportunities with these sellers are very, very high. They're doing very well on Amazon. Therefore, it is definitely a brand that we want to try to become approved for, to try to have access to buying their products and reselling them. You will notice, this is why we're doing this, you will notice I have applied for a lot of these already. All right, so that means that I've already gone through and I've already applied for a lot of them. Okay, I've either been denied or no one has contacted me back, which happens quite often just because they've got a lot of people trying to apply. The reason that I'm going to have you both go back through this list and reapply to all of the ones that fit are because when I went through the first time, quite a while ago, we did not have an online store built out the way it is now. It's much more impressive now than it was before. I structured my emails this time that you're going to be using a little bit differently based on finding, certain testing different emails and seeing how effective they were, and came to the conclusion that these emails that you will be copying and pasting worked more or less the best. So we've made some changes, I guess, and because of that, I want to go back through and I want to try this again and try to get approval on some of these high value targets. They're where the money is, and that's where we want to be. So that's kind of a short and sweet of why we're doing this again. So don't worry if it says applied for, we're gonna be reapplying for these. If it says identified, we're gonna apply for them. So there will be different vendor statuses. Right now, if it's I'll send you the list, so this won't happen, but you wouldn't reapply for an account we're approved for. Does that kind of make sense? So yeah, if we were approved for Hemingway, okay, so that means that we're a seller of Hemingway. We wouldn't apply for a new account. They'd think we were stupid. Okay, so that's just kind of, I know that makes sense to you guys, but so good so far. We're in Zoho. We're clicked on vendors. We're getting ready to filter them the way we need. Okay. So I will send you somehow. I know how I'll do it, but I'll do it later. I'll send you the list. Like May, I'll send you your list of vendors, and say, hey May, these are the vendors you're going to apply for. And then I'll send Sharon, this is your list. These are the vendors you're going to apply for. But I will show you how to filter vendors based on their status. Do you see everything over to the left underneath filter vendors by? Over to the left here. It's moving right now. Do you see it? Yes. Okay. The main one that I filter by, and that I'm guessing you guys will ultimately filter by too, is the vendor status. The reason for that, and you can click on the box and it drops down. The reason for that is if I'm looking at our approved vendors, I want to see our approved vendors. I don't want to see everybody. If I'm looking to contact new vendors, I don't want to look at everybody. It's just too much to see, too much to sort through. So the vendor status is a great way to filter, and you'll at some point you'll probably filter other ways too, but this is a good starting point. The vendor status is, okay? So this is a little bit tricky, and I had to figure it out kind of the first time. When you select is, what that is telling Zoho is that the vendor status is approved, right? Let's just say I want to see all the approved vendors, and then I would apply the filter. So that's telling me that, and Zoho is saying, all right, we're going to show Tyler all the vendors that he has in this category that are approved. Okay, so these are all the approved vendors. So do you see how it dropped my list of over 100 down to 5? Okay, good. So that means that anytime you say vendor status is, Zoho is looking to match that. What is easier for you guys right now is you don't want approved vendors, right? You don't want, price checker completed vendors. You don't want that. That's not what we're looking for, because that means that I've already got their price list and probably means that they're approved. You want to look at things that are not approved. So what did I just change my vendor status drop down to? Yeah. So I don't want to find approved vendors. I don't want to look at those. That's not what I'm trying to work on today. So I would say vendor status is not approved. Yeah. I don't want approved. That's already done. I want everyone else. So I also do not want price checker completed, because that means that I have already got a price list. I've already probably been approved, and I've already run whether it's a good opportunity or not. So my point is, if someone is approved and if someone is price checker completed, they're way down the line. They've already made it pretty far. Okay, so I don't want to look at that. Everything else though, yeah, I want to take a look and I want to reapply. So I just want to make sure vendor status is not approved and is not price checker complete. So we'll apply those filters, and you're going to see how it changes it. Maybe. There we go. All right. So it's off of my screen, but it says down below, I think it says 33 or 55 now that we have on this list. So it filtered it out of the big list. It filtered down like the top 55 that fit what we're doing. So when I send you, guys your list, all right, it's just, I want to be very clear. The vendor status can be many things. And honestly, as long as they're not approved and they're not price checker completed, you're going to apply for them. All right. So just want to be really clear. You guys following me kind of so far overall on this?
Yeah.
Okay. This one, hold on, let me change this because I know the answer to this. This company is a health and nutrition company. I just reached out to them the other week and I just didn't change it. Certain companies, you're going to find out pretty quickly, will only sell to retail stores, like physical retail stores that a person can walk into. Does that make sense? So we're not a physical retail store. So yeah, we're an online store, an online retail store. So you'll come across that, and if in their policies, like Now Foods, I know I just corresponded with them last week. Now Foods, they responded back to me reaching out to them and said, where do you plan to sell our products? And then I sent them an email back saying, hey, we're an online retailer. We sell our products at store.bigdreamsllc.com. Feel free to check us out. Please let me know what the next steps are. Thank you, Tyler Vaughn. Did I mention Amazon at all? Yes or no? No. Good. Here's the thing. We do not mention Amazon unless we are specifically asked. And I'll tell you what. And if we are asked whether we sell on Amazon, we typically say no because we can sell and also sell on our Shopify site. So let me tell you why this is. It's just unfortunately a strategy that has to be utilized in this world of selling online. A lot of people who sell on Amazon go and buy from a company like Now Foods as as cheap as they can buy it at the wholesale prices from Now Foods. They then go to Amazon and they sell it for a very low price that drives down the overall pricing for everyone buying Now Foods. Does that make sense too? So the issue that has been created for people like us that are doing it the right way is that you have these random sellers out there, these random people who are working out of their houses, who are selling out of their garages. You have these random people, and they're doing very well, that are basically making it more challenging for everyone else. So we do not, and this is it has to be standard operating procedure for you guys. And this is the first time I'm introducing it because it's the first time we're talking about it. We do not ever lead, meaning we do not ever begin by saying we're an Amazon seller, because yes, we sell on Amazon, but we also sell on our own store. And that is what companies want. They don't really want any more Amazon sellers. They don't really mind if you do it, but they're not going to approve us if we just sell on Amazon. People just will not do that. So we have to make sure that we're very clear, and we lead by saying we're an online retailer at our own online store. So we try to make sure that the company we're speaking with focuses on their big dreams is much more than an Amazon seller. And we are much more than they'll ever even know, because we have private label and we also have our own brands, which makes us very, very different. But not only not only are they different, they sell on their own retail store, and vendors want that. They want that because if we're selling to a certain group of people, it's a different group of people than who's buying on Amazon. So what it's doing for these companies is it's actually growing their customer base, because people are buying from us now. People who are not buying from Amazon. That's adding to the customer base of these companies, and that's what they want. They want more people, not just the same people, but they always want more people added to their customer base. So we never lead with Amazon. You'll notice in my messages, not one of them at all alludes to Amazon, and it's not that we're trying to be sneaky at all. But I cannot express to both of you enough that we have learned, and we know that if you lead with Amazon, you'll never get approved for anything. So therefore, we lead with the truth, which is we sell on our store at bigdreamsllc.com, which is true. We do sell on the store. So it's very important that we all agree that has to be communicated. You cannot, unfortunately, lead with the Amazon thing in this world. We can't. No one can. It cannot happen. It will make our lives absolutely impossible. So I just wanted to be kind of clear with that there's a reason I didn't allude to it. So just kind of know that. Some brands like Now Foods require a physical store. We don't have a physical store. Maybe we will. I mean, we've identified some locations, but that's just not something we're going to do right now. So if they say, hey, this is what Now Foods told me. Just get back to us. We love what you're doing, but get back to us when you've got a physical location. and then we'll chat about bringing you on as a wholesaler. And I sent back, thanks so much, really appreciate it. We'll absolutely do that. And then again, they get the rejected done or rejected revisit, and I'll put a note on there that says rejected revisit when you have a physical store. Okay, and it's just as simple as that. Is that kind of still following me? Okay. Does it make sense what I was trying to explain to you kind of about why we go about it with the angle of Shopify versus Amazon? Does that make sense? Unfortunately, and I don't know necessarily on eBay how that is similar or not similar made to this, but it's just unfortunately it's a part of the strategy. We are competing with others out there like us, and we have to be very, very clear about our strategy, and we have to be very, very clear that we're so much more than an Amazon seller. Okay, so that's extremely critical, extremely critical. So let's take a look here at the first one and go through the example. So Hemingway, believe it or not, that's a scale, weigh scales, like food scales, and then actual scales. So I clicked on Hemingway. Let's just say Sharon, this was the first one on your list, right? So you clicked on Hemingway. You got onto their page. You see that general information is here. You look down and see, all right, vendor status is applied for. Tyler owns it. I'll always own them. It doesn't. Don't worry about what that matters or not. It doesn't actually matter, to be honest with you. It's just another way to, if I wanted to search all of the vendors that I owned, it just means that they would all be wholesale vendors. So it's just a way to filter and search it. But just make sure right now and moving forward, if you add one, Sharon, which you will be doing, or may, if you were ever to add a vendor, a new vendor, which will happen. It'll probably happen next week, to be honest with you. Just always put vendor owner Tyler. The only options are myself and Ryan. We would never put Ryan because he's private label, and these are all wholesale. So, boom, I'd click that. All right, so good to go. I see that it's been applied for. Okay, all right, no big deal. I see down under target and approval, I see, all right, contact URL. So that means that there's a contact URL I can go to. I don't see a reseller app. That's okay, no big deal. Got some contact information down here that's been pulled from their website. If you're ever curious, I mean, I wouldn't do it right now because this is all about doing it as quickly as possible and contacting as many as possible. But let's just say you are curious, what the heck is Hemingway, right? What is that? What would we even be buying? So you could go and check it out because the site's in there. Products, health and fitness, toys, Himalayan salt. Boom, that's Hemingway. So, all right, you can see Amazon. Maybe I want to check out their Amazon store. Let's see, what are they selling on Amazon? Again, you don't need to do this for the process that we're taking today and tomorrow, but I just want to show you. All right, so they've got some different stuff here. All right, well, I got some different stuff. A lot of. Go ahead. Yeah, they've got some different stuff here. So that's all right. So all right, cool. Now I know. I wouldn't waste your time if I'm you guys doing that today or tomorrow. That's just longer term. Once things settle down, once we get further along the process too, it does become important that you know that the company you're speaking with, you have to know what they're selling, all right, at some point. So, but right now, that's, again, who can tell me why we're contacting this company? There's one reason, because we've identified them as what? High, starts with a V. Yeah. Good. High value. Exactly. Both of you got it. So we've identified them as a high value target. That's why we're reaching out to them. I don't care if they sell toothbrushes. I used that example yesterday, right? I don't care if they sell toothbrushes. I don't care if they sell computers. I don't care if they sell light bulbs. I don't care. They could sell all of them for all I care. But they're high value. We want to try to get approved. We do not care. I told both of you yesterday. I do not care what my opinion is. I do not care what your opinion is. Nothing in regard to this. I do on other things, but it doesn't matter if Tyler wants to buy what they're selling. Someone else, a lot of people out there are buying what they're selling, and that's the business that we're in. Okay. So, Sharon, based on what we're seeing here, what would I do next? What would I click on next?
Contact URL.
Yep. Great job. Awesome. So that tells me there's a contact URL. Let's figure this out. You scroll down. Feel free to drop us a note, and they'll all say a little bit, some things that are different. So what we're gonna do is, and you'll have both of these probably pulled up like I do, but in Big Dreams, the wholesale team, I'll start at the beginning and go there. In the Big Dreams wholesale team, kind of rhymes. I didn't mean it that way. That's funny. All right, you guys have all your folders, team roles. I added a new folder here. It is the vendor contact forms and retail certificate. The messages that I have pulled up, this is, you can see, so you don't have to open it. One is long, one is short. What message do we use first every time? Long or short? Yep, exactly. And you'd only use the short version if on a contact URL like this one, let's say that it says maximum of 200 characters. Exactly. Yep. So that's the only time I'd use a shortened one. And it doesn't want to work, which is fine. So I've got long here to the left. This one right here that I just clicked on is the short. And this is the contact form. So, or the form fills. So what I've done is I've put together for you a list, and I've got to change this one because the physical address, we just moved into a bigger warehouse and a new warehouse. This was our mailing address, so I'll change all that for you. So it'll be live once you start to do it. I doubt you'll have to put this in though unless you fill out a reseller app. So we will do that again in 1 second. But the contact URL, these are the form fill answers. So if they're looking for the company name, boom, Big Dreams LLC. If they want to know when it was established, 2016. Who's completing it? I'm completing it, even if you are. All right, city, all that. So all this information is information that I've found people are asking us for. So I've created this for you guys so that if you're looking for, okay, what's the physical address again? What city and state and what's the postal code or the zip code that they're in? All you've got to do is go to this particular spreadsheet, copy, paste the information that you need. Okay. If you ever come across something that's not here, just shoot me a message and say, hey Tyler, somebody's asking for this. What's the answer? And then I'll tell you the answer, and then all you've got to do is just add it to this form fill. And we'll just continue to collect information. If certain people are asking weird random things, we'll, hey, if they're asking it and it makes sense, we'll add it. That's fine. But that's a good way to do it. So, you put my name in there, which you can copy and paste from there until you get it down. You'll put my email address in there. You'll put our office work phone number in there that will come to me, and then your message. So let's see. I'm going to try to put in the long message. Let's see if it takes the long message. All right, so I've got the long version up. Maybe I do. All I'm going to do once it pulls up is I'll copy, and I'm going to drop that in that box. I'll copy all this down. I'll change the address on there for you guys too. So I'll change all that stuff. Hold on while it loads. All right, we're there. Right click, or however you want to copy and paste. Right click. So I've already right clicked, but it's not doing anything. It's slow today. I'll copy, control copy. Let's see if it pulls it over. So I've done control C. It appears to have worked. Whoopsies. All right. So to whom they concern, blah, 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 blah. Perfect. We've got, does anybody know what the EIN number is? Does anybody know what that is? No, that's okay. So that's the federal number that. Yeah. Yep. That's the federal number. That's the number that we have that says that we're an approved reseller, which you have to do what we do in our business. So, all right, cool. Everything looks good. I'll go ahead and I will send this one. Everything looks good. Send. Boom. I've got verification. There we go. So this one is done. I would close that tab out. I'd go back here, and here's the thing. So Sharon, we were acting like you were doing this. So Sharon would say, "All right, this has already been applied for. So it's already been applied for. So I can't change it to anything because it's not. We haven't been approved. So it has to remain applied for. What I would ask you to do is this: add a vendor note. So click on the little edit button you saw me click on. I'll show you again. See the little edit button pop up? Click on that, and I'll put in, if I'm you, Sharon, I put Sharon filled out contact URL on the date 5/3/17. All right, boom. Sharon filled out contact URL on 5/3/17, and I'll save that. All this does is when you or me, anybody who goes in, and it's probably, it's just as good. I did this for myself. How in the world do you remember all of these when you're applying for so many different vendors? There's no way you're going to remember. When did I fill that out? When did I, have I applied for this one 400 times? They denied me 400 times, because that would be a waste. So we have to keep notes on these things. So. But this one will be good. All right, I'd be done with that one. I'd go back to my list, back to vendors, click on that little back arrow, go back to my list. What's my next one? All right, okay, Chef Star. That's my next one on my list. Let's click on that one and we'll do that one. So as far as contact URLs go, I know that it's pretty simple, but I want to make sure that you agree with me. How do we feel about that? Okay. Right. So how do you feel? Right. Right. No, I got you. Absolutely. So what I would say is that both of you just go through it slowly the first few times, and then once you go from there, once you've gone through 3 or 4, you guys will be pros. So don't worry about it. All right. You will absolutely be pros. It really is copy and paste, and I know for a fact each of you can do that, so I'm not worried about it. Not a big deal, I promise. All right. So what I want to show you prior to signing off for the day, answering any questions, then signing off. So I'm looking right now. You've seen me if you're watching me click around a little bit. I'm looking for a reseller app to show you guys. So I clicked on reseller app because I want to filter based on a reseller app, and I want to say, reseller app, and it contains. All right, that doesn't make sense. So what I'll do is not empty, because remember, Zoho CRM is essentially one very, very large, very, very organized, but very, very large spreadsheet. Okay, so it deals with all of these things as a spreadsheet. It just doesn't it doesn't look like it as we're looking at it right now. But that's how it deals with things. As each of these items are in cells that the system itself creates, and that's how it knows what to do and how to do it. So if I want to find vendors that have reseller apps, which Sharon, I don't think you'll do this every time, but I think because we're going to get to a point where we're just constantly looking for new opportunities. But if I'm you, once, and I'll tell you when this time is, and I don't know when it'll be, but if I'm you, I would make sure that when I let you go free on your own and you're there, I'd say, all right, what does Big Dreams have in terms of reseller apps? Because I know that that's where I want to start. Boom. All right, so you might do this, that you might say, hey, I just want to fill out all the reseller apps that we have currently at our disposal. I want to knock all these out. I want to apply for everything. Let's see what we can figure out. So reseller app URL, I don't want it to be empty. I want it to be there. So you have to put reseller app is not empty. So that's telling the system that let's find all of the accounts or the vendors that have reseller apps. So check it out. It found all of them. So based on this list, there are, I can't see the number because the line's over, I think 25 maybe. All of them have reseller apps that can be filled out. Okay. So let's find a good one as an example. So what do you notice about this one right here, RX bar? What's it say? Yeah. So that would be one that maybe I wouldn't start with that one, just because that means that Tyler's already reached out to it. They rejected us. We'll revisit it at a later time. All right. Let's see. Let's go with this one. Let's see what happens here. So Nielsen Massey. I don't even know what they sell. So there's a reseller app. Oh, they're grocery and gourmet, so they're selling some food of some kind. I'll click on reseller app, just like we did the contact URL. It's going to link me out. Check this out. So it says, have any questions, blah, 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 blah. Wholesale, that there's an email. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Fill out the form below. So this is what you're going to do. You would go first name, Tyler. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that worked. Sweet. Okay. All right. So that's our new address, actually. I was wondering if it pulled it up. That's our new address to our warehouse and our office. So fill out my name, fill out last name, email address, company name. This is our office and warehouse address. City, state, zip code. That's wrong. I'll tell you that for a fact. I know that's wrong. And then U.S. phone number. I am store or online retailer. So that's asking us what we are, right? Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah. So I mean, listen, if ever you're not sure over the next 24 hours, just send me a message while you're on the computer on this page trying to fill it out. Just send me a very quick Slack message telling me, "Hey Tyler, they're asking for this," and in this case, you have to tell me, the choices to some degree. I wouldn't type all of those in, but just say, "Hey, I'm thinking it's this. Is that true?" Okay. How did you discover Nielsen Massey? This is a little bit weird because this caters more towards physical stores. So I typically always, I don't care what you put, don't put a sales rep, because then they're going to say, what sales rep? And then we're not going to have an answer. I typically, there's always usually like online research or web search. I always kind of put that online search because that's is how we found them. This is really important, or else I'll forward all of the spam to you guys. Because remember, this is coming to me. So May, I cannot stress to you how important this is, because ultimately you will have to deal with spamming all of these, and that's not going to be fun. So Sharon, be nice and make sure if you have this option, do not send me tons of email special offers, please, please, please. So that they don't always ask for that, but if you see it, we do not. I don't want special offers and other exciting news. I don't need to know that, but so just FYI. Comments. What are we putting here, Sharon? What am I putting here? So yep, good job. Exactly. So that message, that's all that is. The comments. I'm sending them my message. All right. Okay. Brought it in. Okay. You won't have to. I know you guys have seen me deleting that. I'm gonna fix that so you don't have to delete it. I'm not sure why it was the wrong number. I go in. All right. Okay. Everything looks good. Tyler's a little bit weird. He likes to put the spaces there because it's more looks a little bit better, even though it might not matter. Who knows? All right. Good. Cool. Everything copied in. All right. My name's here. Title. Email. Important. Our store link is there. Yeah. Tyler's going to change this to match up here. All right, cool. So here we go. This will be ready to go. One last step. Prove that you're not an alien. Type in the CAPTCHA. I'm not going to send it to Rose 7486. Boom. Submit. Okay. It'll go through. I'm not going to send it because I've got to change a couple things. I'll let one of you guys send it. But it will go through. And then you'll say, all right, cool. That one's done. Let's go back to Zoho. Does this one have a vendor status? Yes or no? No, it doesn't. So I would have you got to add a vendor status because this one didn't have a status. We need to make sure that we capture the information that says approved, applied for, targeted. Which one? Yep. Yep. There you go. All right. So you would put applied for. You got to save it. The system wants to save it. And then this one will be done. All right. So to recap kind of what we just did. We went into Zoho. I will send you the list of vendors. I will do it the best that I can in terms of the. My hope is I can actually pull an Excel spreadsheet of what we were just looking at, all the vendors here. I just don't know that if when you go in, if I can cut my goal would be to cut the list in half so that one of you can start at the top and work your way to the middle, and then one of you can start at the middle and work your way down. I think that's going to work, but what I worry is that when you go in, if somehow things have shifted around, you may still have to just search for particular vendors' names, which is kind of a pain in the butt. But unless I can find an easier way to do it, I don't know if I can in the next 2 hours probably. So if I gave you Charlie's Soap, May, and you knew that, all right, Charlie's Soap, this is on my list. Let's find it really quickly. All you've got to do is click on the search bar in the top. Did everybody see where I clicked on that? It's in the top search bar. Type in Charlie's. I didn't even have to type the whole thing in, and check this out. Boom. I click on it right there, and it's going to take you right to the page, right to the vendor page. All right. So if all else fails, I would suggest searching it that way, just because it's a little bit more predictable. I guess it's a little more predictable. So, all right. Say that one more time.
You'll be directed when you actually search for the specific vendor on the search bar. You'll be directed to the vendor's page.
Exactly. Yep.
So it's pretty much easier.
Yep. It is. It would, in the long run, it's going to be very easy because Sharon, you're going to be you're kind of going to be the one that's doing all this. So I'm not going to mess around with anything really. You're pretty much in charge of it, in a few weeks, which is, again, right now there's a lot that can be done, which is why we're all three tag teaming it. But at that point, there will be a lot that needs to be done. But what I want to do and what we're doing is we're kind of playing catch up, because I've had these here, and as everything's been going on, and it's been crazy, and